You know, a public demonstration is such a fundamental right. It's this powerful way to express what we believe. But how does that noble act sometimes get completely overshadowed by chaos and destruction? Today, we're going to break down that super fragile line between a protest and just pure opportunism. And, who's really responsible when that line gets crossed?
Okay, first things first. Let's get the foundation right. The sources we're digging into are crystal clear on one thing. Demonstrations are a totally legitimate, fundamental part of free expression. It's how people come together to voice their concerns, their hopes. This is our starting point.
But this right here, this brings us to the real heart of the issue, doesn't it? If demonstrations are a protected way for people to speak out, how on earth do they sometimes turn into a backdrop for destructive stuff like looting? Let's unpack how our sources tackle this really crucial question. And here's where we find a really critical distinction. The problem isn't the demonstration itself. Nope. It's the presence of what our sources call oknum yang tidak bertanggung jawab, basically irresponsible individuals who see a crowd and don't see a cause to support, they see a cover for their own selfish gain. So what creates the perfect storm for these individuals to make their move? Well, our sources break down the environment that allows looting to happen, and it really comes down to three key factors. Yeah, you could almost think of it like a three-step formula for disaster. First, you've got a huge crowd. They're naturally really hard to monitor, and that gives people a sense of anonymity. Second, emotions are running super high, right? That can lower everyone's inhibitions. And third, you have the opportunists, those bad actors we just talked about who are just waiting to take advantage of those first two things. That combination, that's the real flashpoint. And the consequences of this are just massive. And not just for the people who were victims of the looting, but for the demonstration itself. The actions of just a few people can have a huge, huge impact on how everyone sees the entire movement. Just look at this contrast here. It's so stark. On one side, you have the pure goal, people wanting to voice their hopes for the common good. But on the other side, you have the result of looting. It completely tarnishes the struggle. It creates this negative impression that can just totally overshadow the original message. That's the key. The actions of a few can directly undermine the goals of the many. All right, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, the source doesn't just point out what's wrong. It actually suggests a path forward. And it's all based on collective responsibility from inside the demonstration itself. It turns out the responsibility really falls on the participants themselves to protect their own message. This means actively reminding each other to stay peaceful, being willing to report suspicious stuff to the authorities, and just consciously working together to maintain order. It's kind of like creating a collective immune system against those who want to corrupt the cause from within. And here's why this is so important. A demonstration that's orderly and peaceful, well, its message is way more likely to be heard, to be understood, and even to be respected. So in this view, being peaceful isn't just about avoiding damage. It's an actual strategy for making the protest more powerful and effective. Okay, so let's bring all these different pieces together. Let's get to one powerful, concluding thought about what truly gives strength to a collective voice. So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? The real strength of a demonstration? It doesn't come from how big it is or how loud it is. It comes from unity, a real commitment to peace, and that shared responsibility of everyone involved. These are the things that turn just a bunch of noise into a meaningful, powerful voice for change. And that leaves us with one last question to really think about. How can any community in any situation make sure its collective voice is heard clearly and powerfully without being hijacked or overshadowed by the irresponsible actions of just a few individuals inside it? It's a challenge that, honestly, goes way beyond just street protests and really speaks to the core of any group effort.
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.